Hi guys, and welcome back to World's Best Gardens. This week we are looking at Northview Gardens, and they were created by David and Trudi Stewart. Now the address of the gardens is in East Taieri, and just about 20 minutes away from Dunedin. There's a picture there of them when they first arrived there about 30 odd years ago, and it was just paddock. And now you can see it's beautiful gardens, and now it's got new owners too, because they've just sold it to Darren and Nicola, and that's Charlie the dog. So I was here about a month ago, around about about March, and it was a great garden. It's still open, but only by appointment only. So we take the walk, and first of all we walk through this sort of paved area, which leads to this really magnificent, sort of almost Monet style pond, and it's full of water lilies and nice little features and sculptures. This was one of the first developments that David and Trudi actually did, was this central pond feature, and it just basically a walkway and bridges that go around this central pond. Now you'll probably see a lot of the dog Charlie as we go on this walk, because he accompanied me as we walked around this 5-acre garden, roughly around about 2 acres on the flat and the rest in sloping kind of ground. Beautifully planted. This little sculpture here by the pond I thought was really, really awesome, and it just sits there and it's quite playful. I think it's like a boy with a dog, and it just really sets off the pond and sort of it gives you that sort of fantasy aspect to the pond. And very extensive gardens, lots of plantings with various Carokia natives and ornamentals. So we've got some Carokias there and some Colonemas, plenty of seating. And these ones here were looking particularly good. This was the Acacia Limelight. So it's a dwarf wattle, giving you the sort of clumped effect of it, and looking really, really amazing all together, clumped together. So the walk itself took me around about maybe about an hour to walk around, and we started off at the top, and then worked our way. I worked my way downwards to the very bottom. So as you go walking around the garden, there's lots of good paths and lots of interesting little aspects along there, little focal points like this one here, and like I said, lots of seats and sundials and plenty of rhododendrons. So we were seeing this in the sort of autumn, and this here was looking particularly good. This is a variegated ash. It looked really, really amazing, really sort of stood out. And there's plenty of parking. Here we go, we're going to sort of start walking sort of down the hill, but we're still kind of on the flattish bit at the moment. This plant here was looking particularly good too. This was the, I think it's the Pseudowintra collata red leopard. It's a native pepper tree, native plant. So lots of plants still flowering. The soil here, according to David and Trudi, isn't that great. It's a silt soil, and it does suffer a little bit from waterlogging and a little bit of runoff over the winter. And so we'll come to this point where we can see how they coped with it when there was a lot of rain. They built this. Initially it was only 1 metre wide, and it was to take the excess water, but David decided to make it more of a feature, and he extended it up into this quite magnificent kind of very amazing looking waterfall feature. At the moment it was quite dry, because it only really kicks in when there's a lot of rain, but it is also meant to be a one that can go all the time as well, but generally it is just there for in the heavy rains. So we're walking down the hill. These paths are just simple paths and lots of rhododendrons down here. So this is down the bottom where you can have a look. So that feature goes all the way down in these sort of steps and beautifully curved. And that's an example of what it looked like. I think that was in the October when there was a fair bit of rain, and you can see it looks really quite cool. All that water coming down in sheets down the waterfall. So that was at the bottom. We're now going to work our way back up the garden and then have a look at all around the house. So those were silver birches down the driveway, looking pretty amazing. And you can sort of take quite a few different paths, and there's quite a few different sort of steps. So it's very extensive the way you can walk around. You can extend the walk if you really want to. And irrigation, obviously, with these large gardens, very essential, and keeping the plants alive during the hot summer period. And of course it was quite dry this year. So now we're at the top of the garden. This is the very flattish areas on the other side now, and you've got the view on this side, and here we've got a little dovecote, and looking just sort of as a sort of focal point there. Didn't see any doves inside. Not sure where they were. Maybe they're out for the day. And then as you can sort of see, the whole name of the place, Northview, this is the view that you get from the top of the hill. Really quite amazing. So pretty extensively planted, lots of sculptures, lots of water features. And this is one that was called renamed Split Personality by Trudi. It was initially called Moody Blue. And that's actually a waterfall feature. It wasn't actually turned on, but there's actually a waterfall that comes out of those body parts. Coming now just to the extensive rose garden, and as you can sort of see, just a magnificent view, and really nicely paved, and nice use of outdoor living spaces, and a little bit of formality with the clipped hedges and a little bit of topiary, but overall quite a relaxed, informal garden. Now just over to the left there we can see this is the wedding cake tree, Cornus controversa variegata, and there's a few of those planted around. They're quite a small tree and they looked particularly effective. I thought this looked really cool. This is just like a little bit of a moving feature, a little bit of a windmill. And also this was pretty cool too. This was the spa pool area, but if you have a look on the sides there, you can see they've got big glass panels. So being on the top of the hill, being a little bit exposed to the wind, here you can actually move the panels and still be comfortable in your spa pool. So really nice lawn areas, again, really nice sculptures and features that just make the garden pop. And obviously the view there is just looking amazing. And here we go with Charlie the dog. He's leading the way. I'm just following, I think. And like I say, as you walk around the garden, lots of interesting things to look at. And that's just panning back now towards the house. And like I said, it's about 5 acres, so a couple of acres on the flat at the top here, and also productive gardens. Those are the vegetable gardens, and as we come down to the side of the house, there's some more vegetable and fruit trees down this way. Really nice archway pergola along there. And if we'll just have a look at that, let's see nice little features for the birds, bird feeder, and then we're going to walk down the steps, and then to our right we've got some raised vegetable gardens and a lot of fruit trees in this area. So really cool, and lots of flowering plants too. Obviously being in sort of autumn, this is a sort of garden that would look pretty cool, I think, pretty much all throughout the year. And now we're just going to finish up. We're going to walk through this little rose archway, and we're heading back with the dog back to the main entrance to the house. And that kind of pretty much wraps up this video for Northview Gardens, a very, very amazing garden. Like I said, if you need to visit this, give them a ring beforehand and discuss the pricing, but a really worthwhile garden to visit.